feeling of jealousy, insecurity, it's just like,
Yeah.
like you said, it's the thief. Would you say comparison is the thief of joy? You know, and so what? Also, we hear that so much from women, like just comparing your stories.
Yeah.
You can't help but to compare, though.
I know.
How are you supposed? Okay, comparison is a kind of sort of a natural thing. So what do you do when your mind starts to compare their journey to yours?
So you have to, there's two parts of it. We build the other woman up in our minds. And we talked about when my husband's ex lived here. So before that, I had this vision of her as a mom, and she cooked the most healthy meals, and she was so attentive to her kids, and she took them to extracurriculars, and she read them books, and like she fit 24 hours worth of being a fabulous mother into the few hours after school.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's not a great mom. I'm just saying nobody lives up to this vision that I had of her as this perfect mother. And so level setting those expectations of, okay, it's probably not all those things that you're building it up to be, and you're comparing yourself against this perfect standard that doesn't ever exist. So bring that down first. But then what do you know is true? Do you know that your partner chose you? Do you know that your partner chose to put a ring on your finger? That your partner is actively trying to have a baby with you? Because even though your partner had a family before you, your partner wants to grow that family with you. Like, what do you know is true? And then base your feelings in the moment, try to redirect them around what you know.
Dealing with the facts. And one thing that I see a lot of stepmoms doing, like you said, sometimes we'll tend to romanticize who this woman was, who she is. She's Betty Crocker. She's supermodel. She's like mom of the year. We'll romanticize it. And I see a lot of, on the contrary, some stepmoms will tear down who she is in order to make themselves feel exalted, feel less better, to soothe their own egos, which is more harmful. Like, that's super harmful, because what if she's not all bad?
Right.
What if she's actually a good mom? What if she's not a super bitch? Like, what if your man actually loved her with all his heart once upon a time? Like, I have to pull my wig off right now. Like, what if, you know? What do you say to those women that have found comfort in diminishing this biological mother?
Anything you say about her doesn't change you. So talking bad about the bio mom doesn't make you a better mom. And it's so true. Whether you're building her up or you're tearing her down, either way, it's coming from a place of insecurity.
Yeah.
And it's not going to make you feel better to talk about her. And even if somebody agrees with you, that's not how you get true validation and satisfaction. You need to go to your partner. You need to go to yourself, have a meeting with the two people who actually matter, yourself and your partner, talk about your relationship, and again, find out what's true. Because talking about her, thinking about her, pulling her down, that's not a long-term solution. It might make you feel better for 5 minutes, but it's still not true. So you're not going to get long-term satisfaction out of that.
Right. And then, would you really be satisfied if she was this awful human being? Because if she was, that means she's raising your partner's children, and she's grooming them. Mm-hmm. She's influencing them. So ultimately, these young people are going to grow up and have a negative influence. How do you think that's going to affect you and your household? How do you think your partner is going to be able to reconcile his involvement or lack thereof in his children's lives? I never want another woman, especially in another household that's connected to my man, to be doing bad, because that affects him. And when he's affected, I'm affected. And
just another point to add on is like, do you want the stepchildren that you're helping to raise to be half of that?
Right.
If you think it's a monster, if you think that there's like conniving or dumb, I mean, whatever it is, like, is that really what you want to have signed up? You want to help raise these kids and you believe that 50% of their DNA is all of these things?
Right, right. You know, I think some people would much rather live in, I think living in the unknown is a very uncomfortable place. So we have to make up stories. Like our minds have to compartmentalize stuff somewhere. And for some of us, we tend to see half full, and some of us are half empty. And I guess all of that kind of relates back to how you see yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It relates back to how you see yourself. There's a part in my book where I force the reader to say some good things about the stepmother or biological mother in their life. I literally make them write a paragraph, and it could be fictitious, because I want us all to get in the habit of vibrating really, really high, not low vibrations. It's just like an extreme emptiness, sense of comparison, like Kristen mentioned, this competitive thing, and it ruins relationships if you allow it. It can ruin a relationship, because it's one thing to just be dealing with, oh, my spouse or my partner was with somebody else. But it's another thing to have this extra caveat. It's like weighing heavily on your entire relationship. It's like suffocating almost. And you can suffocate your relationship by, of course, bringing up bio mom. I remember at one point when we first got together, I wanted to know everything. Like I wanted to know stuff that I wish. It took my mind years to reconcile and get rid of. You can't unlearn stuff. And I tell women all the time, girl, sometimes ignorance is bliss. Sometimes you need to just shut up and just take it. But we don't listen, right?
No. Oh my gosh, I did the same thing.
Why do we do that? Why?
I don't know. I know that marrying somebody who was married before me rocked me to my core. And there were insecurities I didn't know I was capable of. And
girl, yes. Yes.
I wasn't prepared for how that was going to make me feel. Yeah. And so I don't know why I did the things I did. I wanted to know, like, well, did you get married in a church? Did you get married outdoors? Okay, well, you got married in a church. We're going to get married outdoors. What season was it? It was fall. Okay, we're going to get married in the spring.
Yeah.
And there were even things, he'd talk about going to a restaurant. Oh, well, did you go there with her? And it was like.
You're like, oh, you did? Okay, well, I'm not hungry.
Okay, well, we can pick literally anywhere else.
I think it's a lot of, we don't want the guys to relive their experience with someone else with us, because we think that they will start to say, oh, I had more fun at this restaurant with her. Or, I don't know why we do that, but we need to be able to quantify, and we need to be able to make ourselves feel better. That's just our ego, and our sense of fear. I know at one point, I learned to stop asking, for sure. I learned to stop, because our situation, and I'm always very open about this. It was super high conflict. Like, it was nasty. It was years and years and years before things calmed down. And so my husband's ex would say things to him. And this was at the point in our relationship where I was like, oh, she texts you? Let me see what she's at. And I would just read. Remember back in the day when you used to da-da-da-da-da? And I was just like, and I know now she was just kind of saying it because she knew I was reading, and just playing that game that women do, that us girls do with each other. Mm-hmm. But I just inserted myself in places where it should not have been. And if you're out there watching this and you find yourself doing that, it's going to take you years. Whatever you learn today, let's just say you learned one of those cute fun facts today, that her bridesmaids wore gold. Let's just say you find out, you're going to start, everywhere you go, you're going to see gold bridesmaids dresses. You're going to start to hate and abhor the color gold. if he mentions gold or gets a gold watch, you're gonna spaz because it's gonna take you back to a bad place. It's literally one fun fact is gonna take a lot of time and energy from you. So the less you know, the more brain space you have to focus on yourself and your health and your relationship. You know?
Because that's what matters.
I don't know a way to reiterate that to any stepmom though, because I didn't have anybody to tell me like this. When I was starting out, I didn't have something like this to sit and watch and to have someone beating it into my head like, Naja, don't ask questions like that. You want the truth? Well, you can't handle the truth. Like, I didn't have that, you know?
I want them to learn my lessons that I wish I would have learned because things were rough.
Yes. Yeah. And I can see the face you're making. You're like, that face you're making, I know that face. Like, you're just like, oh, God. Because I know when you're making that face, there's like really quick thought memories that will just flash in your head. And you're just like, it's too many to say.
Oh, that was for sure. That time was me finding his wedding video.
You didn't watch it though. I know you didn't watch it.
Hell no. I asked him to throw it away. I am not watching it. But I can still see the picture that was on the front of the video case. I mean, there's things like that. It does take years to forget, and it's
years. And you don't forget it though. You have to force yourself to try to replace it with something else. But that type of stuff, I feel like I don't want that type of stuff etched in my mind.
Right.
We can't stress this enough. Like, the more you put in your mind about that, it's just going to replace what could have been a happy thought. Stress is a killer. Stress, like, what's the number one killer of women in America? It's heart disease. Then I believe it's certain types of cancer. But heart disease, poor eating habits, lack of movement, stress, like, this is what happens with us. I would say I know tons of stressed out stepmoms. You know, I have a whole section dedicated to women who are succumbing to stress just because they're in love with a person that has children.
This is Naja Hall, Master Stepfamily Coach and founder of VIP Stepmom. I hope that you've enjoyed the video today. If you're one of the ladies out there that needs a little bit more help besides what the free blogs, the Facebook groups, and the YouTube videos that can provide, then I have something for you. For less than the cost of a glass of wine, I have a tool that's going to take you, your relationship, and your peace of mind to the next level. Check out this next video.
Why in the would you pay to be a part of a group, especially for stepmoms, when there's plenty of them that are free on the internet all over the place? Well, I'll tell you why. I'm Naja Hall, the creator of VIP Stepmom, and I made this space specifically for you. When I first started my stepmom journey, I felt just like you did. I mean, heck, I still do sometimes. You feel isolated and frustrated and out of control, and like people that made decisions before they even knew you, and people that don't live in your house get to have a lot of say-so in your life and what you do. That's probably one of the most frustrating things about being a stepmother or a step-parent. I created a space specifically and exclusively for women like you because as a master stepfamily coach, master, that just means I've been doing it a long time and I'm really good at what I do. I've been able to kind of compile the problems of all of my clients, online and offline, and I've put them in a quantifiable space. As to where everybody can't come and sit on my couch. You can't schedule a session with me because whatever, you can still get the tools that I use to improve the lives of women that are dating, engaged, or married to people with children. Now, I ain't gonna lie, it's not easy. It's not easy getting to a place of being completely unbothered about factors in your life which are beyond your control. That's kind of a contradictory statement, but I know from personal and professional experience that it's possible and you can do it too. Now, I'm a life coach. I ain't your therapist. I ain't your preacher. I ain't your mama. I'm going to heal you, but I'm going to do it in a way that's a little bit unorthodox because we're in unorthodox situations. This is not normal. Through my books, my blogs, my meditation practices on mindfulness, the experts that I go and get to come and talk to us, the anonymous forum, courses, coaching sessions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is your one-stop shop for healing yourself and your family. So many women have the title of being a stepmother, but they don't do so with pride. And I mean, it's kind of hard to, because you've been told that it's something to be ashamed of. Well, it's not. So I'm going to help you take back your power and take back who you are yourself as a woman, a partner, and a human. So join VIP Stepmom. There's a lot in store for you.